Hello and welcome. Have you ever felt that despite your years of wisdom, the world around you has become louder and less respectful? Perhaps it is a sudden distance from an adult child, or the fatigue of a long day. It is easy to feel your peace is being taken from you. In our modern life, we are often pulled into small arguments that leave us feeling drained and tired. But the ancient Stoics offered a different way. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that the mind is like a fortress. He wrote that things cannot touch the soul. They only stand outside it, silent and still. Consider this short illustration. Imagine a friend speaks to you with unfair criticism. Instead of defending yourself, you choose to wait and breathe. In this video, we will explore the anchored mind protocol. It is a simple principle and a daily practice to help you stay steady. I invite you to stay with us until the end as we walk through these steps together. If you are ready to begin, please type in the comments. I am the gatekeeper of my peace. I am the gatekeeper of my peace. The first pillar of the anchored mind protocol is a principle the ancient Stoics called the Sluice Gate. In the physical world, a sluice gate is a heavy barrier used to control the flow of a powerful river. When the gate is closed, the water remains outside, unable to disturb the dry land. When the gate is opened, the water rushes in, changing everything it touches. The Stoics believed our minds possess a similar gate. This is the principle of prohairesis, which is often translated as our power of choice or our moral will. It is the idea that between what happens to you and how you feel, there is a small gap. In this gap stands your gatekeeper. This gatekeeper has the authority to decide whether a comment, a disappointment, or a piece of bad news is allowed to enter your inner world. If the gatekeeper is awake, the mind remains steady. If the gatekeeper is asleep, every external event floods your soul, leaving you exhausted and overwhelmed. In our modern life, keeping this gate closed is more difficult than it was in ancient Rome. We live in an age of instant connectivity. Through our phones and our televisions, the world is constantly shouting for our attention. We are expected to respond to messages immediately. We are expected to have an opinion on every headline. For many of us who have spent decades caring for others, there is also a deep desire for respect. After years of sacrifice, a sharp word from a family member or a friend feels like a personal attack. We feel that if we do not defend our honor right away, we are somehow losing our position. This constant pressure makes us reactive. Our sluice gate stays wide open, and we find ourselves drowning in the emotions of other people. We overthink conversations that happened hours ago. We imagine arguments that have not yet occurred. We carry the weight of problems that are not ours to solve. Let us look at a modern illustration of this struggle. This is a fictional example, but it may feel very familiar to you. Imagine you are hosting a family dinner. You have spent hours preparing the meal and making the house comfortable. During the dinner, a relative makes a sharp, ungrateful comment. They might criticize the food or perhaps make a judgmental remark about how you choose to spend your time. In that second, your heart begins to race. You feel a familiar heat rising in your chest. The old way of reacting is to fire back with an equally sharp comment. You want to prove your worth. You want to show them they are wrong. Your mind begins to race with all the things you could say to defend yourself. In this moment, the sluice gate is wide open. The relative's unkindness has successfully entered your home, your heart. and your evening. Their words have moved from the air into your very soul. The Stoics offered a profound analysis of this situation. They taught that the relative's words are merely sounds in the air. They have no power to hurt you unless you decide that they are harmful. The pain you feel does not come from the words themselves, but from your judgment of them. If you believe you have been insulted, you will feel hurt. If you believe their opinion defines your value, you will feel angry. But if you recognize that their words are external and outside your control, you can choose to keep the gate closed. Epictetus was a Stoic teacher who was born into slavery, and he spoke deeply about this loss of freedom. Epictetus wrote, "If someone delivers you to a passerby to be made their slave, you would be angry. Yet you deliver your own mind to anyone who happens to insult you, leaving it disturbed and troubled." This is a powerful thought for us to consider. Whenever we react instantly to an insult, we are essentially handing over our freedom to the person who insulted us. We are allowing them to decide whether we will be happy or miserable for the rest of the day. A Stoic refuses to be a slave to the opinions of others. They understand that their peace is their own property, and they do not give the keys to their fortress to just anyone. Apply this principle when you feel the urge to overthink a misunderstanding with a friend or a family member. Ask yourself if you are handing your mind over to them. Remember that you can observe their behavior without letting them inside your gate. You can see that they are being unkind without becoming unkind yourself. This is how we maintain our dignity as we age. We become the quiet center of the storm, rather than a leaf blown about by the wind. To help you practice this, we use a simple exercise called the 3-breath audit. This is something you can do at any moment of stress. Whether you are at a dinner table or looking at a screen, it takes less than 1 minute. When you feel that spark of irritation or the urge to defend yourself, stop. Do not speak. Do not move. Step number 1. Take your first slow breath. As you inhale, simply notice the physical feeling in your body. Notice the tightness in your chest or the heat in your face. Do not judge it. Just watch it as if it belongs to someone else. Step number 2. Take your second slow breath. Ask yourself one question. Is my peace of mind worth losing for this person's opinion? Remind yourself that once you give away your peace, it is very hard to get it back. Step number 3. Take your third slow breath. Decide to leave the comment outside. Imagine the words hitting a stone wall and falling to the ground. They cannot enter unless you open the gate. After these 3 breaths, you will find that the urge to react has faded. You are back in command. This exercise is not about being cold or indifferent. It is about being sovereign. It is about protecting the clarity you need to enjoy your life and care for the things that truly matter. You are not ignoring the world. You are simply choosing what is allowed to influence your heart. This is the first step toward a life of true stability. If this idea of the Sluice Gate resonates with you, I invite you to take a moment to settle this intention in your mind. It is a small but powerful way to claim your strength for the day ahead. Please go to the comment section and type, "I am the gatekeeper of my peace. I am the gatekeeper of my peace." Repeating this to yourself throughout the day will remind you that you always have a choice. You are the one who decides what enters your mind. You are the one who decides how your story unfolds. Stay anchored in your own strength. The second pillar of the Anchored Mind Protocol is an essential tool for when we feel deeply let down by those we trusted. The ancient Stoics called this the dichotomy of control. It is perhaps the most important concept for anyone seeking a life of dignity and peace. At its heart, this principle asks us to look at our lives and divide everything into two separate piles. In the first pile, we place the things that belong to us. This includes our own thoughts, our own intentions, and our own actions. These are the only things we truly own. In the second pile, we place everything else. This includes the weather, the economy, and most importantly, the behavior of other people. The Stoics taught that the second pile is not our business. They believed that trying to control the thoughts or actions of another person is like trying to control the movement of the stars. It is an impossible task that only leads to frustration and a broken heart. This principle is especially difficult to apply in our modern world, particularly as we reach our middle and later years. By the time we are 50 or 60, we have invested decades into our relationships. We have raised children, supported spouses, and built long-lasting friendships. When someone we have loved for 30 years betrays our trust, it does not feel like a simple mistake. It feels like a theft of time. We feel as though the years we gave to that person have been stolen or erased. In our modern age, betrayal is also very visible. We might see a former friend living a happy life on social media after they have hurt us. We might hear rumors through our community that feel unfair and painful. It is natural to feel a deep sense of injustice. We find ourselves trapped in a cycle of overthinking. We ask ourselves, how could they do this? We wonder what we could have done differently to prevent it. This overthinking is a trap. It keeps us anchored to the person who hurt us, long after they have moved on with their own lives. Consider this short illustration of how this struggle looks in our daily lives. This is a fictional story, but it reflects a common experience. Imagine a person named Sarah. Sarah has a close friend of 20 years. They have shared every major life event, from weddings to funerals. Suddenly, this friend stops calling. Sarah eventually discovers that the friend has been speaking unkindly about her, behind her back to others in their social circle. Sarah is devastated. Late at night, she lies awake in the silence of her room. Her mind is racing. She plays back every conversation they ever had. She looks for clues. She imagines what she will say when she finally confronts them. She wants an apology. She wants the person to realize how much pain they have caused. In this moment, Sarah's peace is entirely dependent on her friend's reaction. She is waiting for the person who hurt her to give her permission to feel better. This is the heavy burden of trying to control what is outside our circle. A Stoic analysis of Sarah's situation offers a path to freedom. A Stoic would tell Sarah that she never owned her friend's loyalty. Loyalty is a choice that another person makes, and therefore, it was always in their pile, not hers. When her friend chose to be unkind, it was a failure of the friend's character, not Sarah's. The betrayal is a reflection of the other person's internal world, their insecurities, or their lack of integrity. It says nothing about Sarah's value as a human being. By focusing on what she can control, Sarah realizes she still owns her own character. She still owns her own honesty and her own ability to be a good friend to others. She cannot fix the other person, but she can decide how she will carry herself from this moment forward. Marcus Aurelius was a man who understood the weight of betrayal more than most. As the emperor of Rome, he was surrounded by people who wanted his power. He was betrayed by generals he trusted, and even by members of his own family. Yet, he did not allow these betrayals to make him bitter. He wrote these words to himself in his private journal. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." This is a profound and challenging thought. When we are betrayed, our instinct is often to act like the person who hurt us. We want to be sharp, we want to be petty, and we want to strike back. But the Stoics tell us that doing this only ruins our own character. If someone is dishonest, the best thing you can do is remain honest. If someone is cruel, the best thing you can do is remain kind. In this way, you prove that they have no power over your soul. You remain the master of your own fortress. Apply this principle whenever you feel the sting of disappointment in a relationship. Whether it is a partner, an adult child, or a lifelong friend, remember that their behavior belongs to them. You are only responsible for your response. Do not let their failure become your failure. Do not let their lack of integrity pull you down into the mud. Your dignity is found in your own alignment with what is right. This is how you reclaim your time and your energy. You stop trying to solve the puzzle of another person's heart and start tending to your own. This is not about being cold. It is about realizing where your influence begins and where it ends. It is about finding the strength to walk away with your head held high, knowing that your peace is not for sale. To help you put this into practice today, we will use an exercise called the Circle of Influence. You can do this in your mind, but it is often better to do it with a piece of paper and a pen. This simple physical act helps quiet the noise of overthinking and brings your focus back to where it belongs. Step number 1. Take a clean sheet of paper and draw a large circle in the center. Inside this circle, write down 3 things you have complete control over right now. This might be your breath, your next meal, or the way you choose to speak to the next person you see. These are the things that belong to you. Step number 2. Outside the circle, write the name of the person or the situation that is causing you pain. Write down the words they said or the actions they took. As you write them outside the circle, look at them clearly. Acknowledge that these things are outside your power. You cannot change what was said. You cannot force them to apologize. You cannot rewrite the past. Step number 3. Take a moment to look at the space between the inside and the outside of your circle. Tell yourself that you are letting go of everything outside that line. It no longer has permission to disturb your inner world. Whenever your mind starts to drift back to the betrayal, visualize this circle. Remind yourself that you are choosing to stay inside your own territory. Spend at least 5 minutes in this reflection, breathing slowly and feeling the weight lift from your shoulders. By doing this, you are practicing the most powerful form of self-care. You are declaring that your emotional stability is not up for rent. You are deciding that your character is more important than the opinions or mistakes of others. This is the path to a steady mind and a peaceful heart. It is the way we maintain our dignity through every season of life. If you feel ready to let go of the things you cannot control and focus on the strength of your own character, I invite you to share this intention with our community. Please go to the comment section and type, "My character is my only true possession." My character is my only true possession. Repeating this will help you remember that as long as you act with integrity, you have lost nothing of real value. Stay steady in your own circle. Stay anchored in your own truth. The third pillar of the Anchored Mind Protocol is the practical application of wisdom to the specific, difficult seasons of life that many of us face in our mature years. While the general principles of the gatekeeper and the circle of influence are powerful, they truly come to life when we apply them to our deepest challenges. For our community, these challenges often appear in two distinct forms. The first is the heavy, daily fatigue of caregiving for a loved one. The second is the quiet, often painful transition into the empty nest or a life of solitude. These are not just chores or feelings, they are the training grounds where our character is built and our peace is tested. Let us first address the profound weight of caregiving. Whether you are looking after a spouse whose health is fading or an elderly parent who no longer remembers your name, this role is one of the most demanding paths a human being can walk. The Stoic principle for this situation is the concept of service to the whole. The Stoics believed that all human beings are part of one large, interconnected body. They taught that we are like limbs of a single organism, and just as the hand serves the body without asking for applause, we fulfill our nature when we care for one another. In this view, caregiving is not a burden that has been forced upon you. It is a high calling. It is an opportunity to practice the ultimate form of virtue in the quietest of rooms. Applying this today is incredibly difficult. Modern life often leaves caregivers feeling isolated and invisible. Unlike a career, where you might receive a promotion or a word of thanks, caregiving is often done in total silence. It is physically exhausting and emotionally draining. You may feel that your own life has been put on hold while the world moves on without you. You might even feel a sense of resentment or a loss of your own identity as you spend your hours tending to the needs of another. This fatigue is real, and the modern world offers very little support for the soul of a caregiver. We are told to be productive and to seek our own happiness. Yet here you are, sacrificing your time and energy for someone who may not be able to thank you. Consider this fictional illustration of a man named John. John is 70 years old, and he spends his days caring for his wife, who is struggling with memory loss. His children live in another state, and his friends have stopped calling as much because it is hard to see him in this struggle. John feels like he is disappearing. He wakes up tired, and he goes to bed exhausted. One afternoon, while helping his wife, he feels a sudden wave of frustration. He wonders if this is all that is left of his life. He feels that he has lost his freedom. In this moment, John is looking at his situation as a weight that is crushing him. A Stoic perspective helps John change his internal narrative. Instead of seeing himself as a victim of circumstance, he begins to see himself as a practitioner of patience and compassion. He realizes that while he cannot control his wife's illness, he can control the spirit in which he serves her. He understands that this is his duty as a human being and as a partner. By shifting his focus from the burden to the virtue, John reclaims his dignity. He is no longer just a tired man. He is a man of profound character, performing a sacred duty. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about this sense of belonging to the human community. He used the image of the body to remind himself of his purpose. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Just as with the limbs of the body in individual organisms, so rational beings likewise have been constituted for a single task of cooperation." When you care for a loved one, you are participating in this natural cooperation. You are not losing your life. You are using your life for its highest purpose. The Stoics believed that doing what is right is the only true source of happiness. Even in the middle of a difficult night, you can find peace in knowing that you are acting with integrity and love. Apply this principle when the fatigue feels too heavy to bear. Remind yourself that you are practicing the virtue of patience in this exact moment. You are not just performing a task, you are refining your soul. For those in this situation, we suggest a practice called the 5-minute virtue shift. Step number 1. Once a day, find 5 minutes of quiet, perhaps while you are having a cup of coffee. Step number 2. Do not think about the list of things you have to do. Instead, identify one virtue you practice today, such as kindness, endurance, or self-control. Step number 3. Acknowledge that this virtue belongs to you and no one can take it away. It is your inner victory. Now, let us turn to the second scenario, the experience of the empty nest or a new season of loneliness. This is a transition that many in our community feel deeply. After decades of a busy home, the silence can feel deafening. The Stoic principle here is the inner retreat. The Stoics taught that we do not need to travel to find peace. We carry a quiet sanctuary within our own minds. They believed that solitude is not a lack of connection with others, but an opportunity to strengthen our connection with ourselves. In our modern world, this is difficult because we are constantly told that being alone is a sign of failure or being forgotten. Social media shows us images of families together, making our own quiet houses feel empty. We may feel that our role as a parent or a provider has ended, leaving us without a sense of purpose. This transition can lead to overthinking and regret about the past, but the Stoics saw this as a time of great potential. It is a time to become your own best friend and to discover the strength that exists when the noise of the world is stripped away. Imagine a woman named Maria, whose children have moved away and whose house is now very still. She often sits in her living room feeling a sense of loss. She waits for the phone to ring, and when it does not, she feels a sting of rejection. To Maria, the silence feels like an enemy. She thinks her best years are behind her, but through a Stoic lens, Maria can reframe this silence as a gift of space. She can use this time to read, to reflect, and to build a stronger inner fortress. She realizes that her value does not depend on being needed by others, but on her own character and wisdom. Marcus Aurelius spoke of this inner sanctuary as the ultimate place of rest. He reminded himself that he did not need a physical getaway to find calm. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nowhere can a man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." For Maria, and for many of us, learning to find this retreat is the key to peace in later life. It is the understanding that you are whole and complete just as you are. Apply this when you feel the weight of a quiet house. Do not see the silence as an absence of life, but as the presence of clarity. Use this time to observe your thoughts and to find the quiet strength that has always been inside you. The practice for this is the 10-minute tea silence. Step number 1. Prepare a warm drink and sit in a comfortable chair. Step number 2. Turn off all electronics and simply listen to the sounds of the room. Step number 3. Notice that you are safe, you are steady, and you are in your own company. Tell yourself that you are enough. Do this for 10 minutes every morning to anchor your mind before the day begins. Whether you are a caregiver or someone navigating a quiet season, remember that your peace is a practiced habit. You are the master of your internal world, and your dignity remains intact through every change. If you are ready to find strength in your daily path, please go to the comment section and type, "My peace is my power. My peace is my power." Let these words remind you that your stability comes from within Stay anchored in your virtue. Stay steady in your soul. The final part of the Anchored Mind Protocol is the transition from understanding these ideas to living them every single day. The ancient Stoics were not interested in beautiful words or complicated theories that lived only in books. They were practical people who believed that philosophy was like medicine for the soul. Just as you might take a daily walk to keep your heart strong, the Stoics believed you must exercise your mind to keep your peace secure. To help you build this inner strength, we have designed a simple 7-day anchored mind plan. This plan is created specifically for the challenges of our modern lives, such as managing family tensions, dealing with the frustrations of technology, or navigating the quiet moments of retirement. By following these steps, you are not just thinking about Stoicism, you are becoming a Stoic in your actions and your character. The first 2 days of your journey, day number 1 and day number 2, are dedicated to the 60-second rule. The principle here is the discipline of delay. The Stoics recognize that our first reactions are often driven by instinct, fear, or ego. These reactions are like a sudden gust of wind that can knock us off balance before we have a chance to plant our feet. By introducing a deliberate pause, we regain our footing and allow our reason to take the lead. In our modern world, this is incredibly difficult because everything is designed for speed. When we receive a text message that feels cold, or a social media notification that makes us feel left out, we feel an urgent pressure to react. We live in a culture that rewards the loudest and fastest voice. For those of us who have spent a lifetime standing up for our families or our values, silence can feel like weakness. We worry that if we do not speak up immediately, we are letting someone walk over us. But the Stoics saw it differently. They believed that the person who cannot wait is the one who is truly weak. Consider this fictional illustration. Imagine you receive an email from a former colleague or a distant relative that is filled with unfair assumptions. Your first instinct is to type a long, angry reply to set the record straight. Your fingers are ready to hit the keys. But instead, you look at the clock and commit to the 60-second rule. For 1 full minute, you do nothing. You do not type. You do not pace the room. And you do not rehearse your argument. You simply sit and wait. As you wait, you apply the analysis taught by the great Stoic teacher, Seneca. Seneca was a man who served in the highest levels of Roman government, where one wrong word could mean the end of a career or a life. He understood the danger of a quick temper. Seneca wrote, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay. By waiting for 60 seconds, you allow the initial surge of chemicals in your brain to settle. You realize that an angry reply will not change the other person's mind. It will only ruin your quiet afternoon. After the minute has passed, you often find that you no longer feel the need to respond at all. You have kept your dignity and your time. Apply this rule when you are stuck in traffic, when a store clerk is slow, or when someone disagrees with you at a gathering. On day number 3 and day number 4, we move to the fact check. The principle here is objective representation. The Stoics believed that we suffer because we add a layer of drama to everything that happens. We do not just see a car that is late, we see a world that is out to get us. We do not just see a missed phone call, we see a sign that we are no longer loved. The fact check is the habit of stripping away these stories and looking only at the bare facts. This is difficult today because our modern media and even our personal conversations are filled with emotional language. We are taught to be passionate and to feel everything deeply. We are encouraged to catastrophize small inconveniences until they feel like major tragedies. This habit creates a heavy cloud of overthinking that prevents us from seeing the world as it truly is. Imagine Maria, whose children did not call her on a Sunday evening as they usually do. The story Maria tells herself is that her children are ungrateful, that she is being forgotten, and that her life is becoming empty. This story causes her hours of sadness. But the fact check asks Maria to look only at what is true. The fact is simply that the phone did not ring. There could be 100 reasons for this that have nothing to do with her value. By sticking to the facts, Maria removes the sting from the event. Marcus Aurelius practiced this daily. He was an emperor who dealt with plagues, wars, and betrayal. Yet he remained calm by looking at things simply. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, strip them of their accessories, and look at the things themselves. When you apply the fact check, you remove the accessories of judgment and drama. You describe your life in plain, boring language. Instead of saying, my friend betrayed my trust and ruined our history, you say, my friend said something that was not true. The second version allows you to breathe. The first version keeps you in a cage. Day number 5 and day number 6 are for the voluntary small task. This is the principle of self-discipline. The Stoics believed that if we do not practice using our will in small things, we will not have the strength to use it in big things. As we move into later life, it is easy to fall into a routine of comfort and to avoid things that are difficult or annoying. We tell ourselves we have earned the right to be easy on ourselves, but the Stoics warned that a mind without a challenge becomes soft and easily disturbed. Think of a small task you have been avoiding, like cleaning out a cluttered drawer, fixing a squeaky door, or writing a difficult letter. This is a fictional but common example. Imagine a woman named Ellen who has a garden that has become overgrown. Every time she looks at it, she feels a small sense of failure and stress. She avoids looking at it, which only makes the stress grow. By choosing to spend 30 minutes working in that garden, Ellen is not just pulling weeds, she is proving to herself that she is still the master of her own actions. She is practicing the virtue of industry. The Stoic Musonius Rufus taught that labor is good for the soul because it connects us to reality. Musonius Rufus wrote, "To loathe labor is to loathe life itself." By finishing a small task, you build a win for your character. You prove that you can do what is necessary, even when you do not feel like it. This builds a quiet confidence that carries over into your emotional life. Finally, day number 7 is the day of review. This is the principle of self-examination. The Stoics believed that a life without reflection is like a ship without a captain. Every evening, and especially at the end of the week, we must look back at our actions with honesty and kindness. This is hard because modern life offers so many distractions to help us avoid our own thoughts. We turn on the television or look at our phones so we do not have to sit in silence and look at our mistakes. But the Stoics believed that looking at our mistakes is the only way to grow. They did not do this to shame themselves, but to learn. On your 7th day, spend 15 minutes in total silence. Look back at the week. Ask yourself, when did I open my sluice gate? When did I stay inside my circle of influence? What did I do well? Seneca described this as a daily trial where he was both the judge and the defendant. Seneca wrote, "I make use of this privilege, and daily plead my cause before myself." By the end of this week, you will notice a change. You will feel less like a victim of circumstances and more like the architect of your own peace. You will find that the noise of the world is a little quieter, and the voice of your own reason is a little stronger. This is the take-home value of Stoicism. It is not a temporary feeling, it is a permanent foundation. As we conclude this 7-day plan, I invite you to commit to your own growth. You are a person of value, and your mind deserves your care. If you are ready to put these days into practice, please go to the comment section and type, "I am building my inner strength. I am building my inner strength." Let this be your signal to yourself and to this community that you are choosing a path of dignity and calm. Stay anchored in your practice. Stay steady in your soul. The final pillar of the Anchored Mind protocol focuses on the bookends of your day. The ancient Stoics believed that a person who wishes to remain steady cannot simply hope for a good day. They understood that wisdom requires a morning ritual to prepare the mind for battle and an evening ritual to review the lessons learned. These daily rituals are not religious or dogmatic. They are practical tools that serve as your mental armor and your personal compass, whatever your faith or your background. These practices help you reclaim your time before the world has a chance to steal it. By starting and ending your day with intention, you ensure that your character remains under your own command, regardless of the storms that may blow in between. The morning ritual is built on the principle of preparation. The Stoics practiced something called premeditation. This is the habit of looking forward into the day and anticipating the challenges you might face. It is the realization that a calm morning does not guarantee a calm afternoon. By preparing your mind for difficult people, unexpected health issues, or family tensions, you remove the element of surprise. When these challenges arrive, you do not feel like a victim. You feel like a person who has already rehearsed their response. This preparation is not about being a pessimist. It is about being a realist who values their own peace too much to leave it to chance. In our modern world, this is very hard to do because we have been trained to wake up in a reactive state. Many of us reach for our phones before we even get out of bed. We check the news, which is often designed to make us feel anxious or angry. We check messages that demand our immediate energy. We start our day by letting the entire world into our private room. This creates a state of low-level panic that lasts until we fall asleep. For those of us who are dealing with the physical pains of aging or the quiet of a house that used to be full, this reactive start can make our challenges feel even heavier. We begin the day feeling behind, and we spend the rest of our hours trying to catch up to a peace that feels just out of reach. Consider this fictional illustration of a woman named Margaret. Margaret is 65 years old. She wakes up and immediately worries about her upcoming doctor's appointment and whether her daughter will call her today. Her mind starts racing with scenarios. She imagines the doctor giving her bad news. She imagines feeling hurt if the phone does not ring. By the time Margaret reaches the kitchen to make her tea, she is already tired. Her mind is already crowded with shadows. She has lost her sovereignty before her day has even begun. Margaret is not living her day. She is reacting to her fears. A Stoic perspective would offer Margaret a different path. Instead of letting her fears run wild, she would meet them at the door. She would recognize that while she cannot control the doctor's report or her daughter's schedule, she can control her own readiness. She would take 5 minutes of silence to acknowledge that the world is unpredictable. She would tell herself that she has the strength to handle whatever news comes. because her dignity is not tied to a diagnosis or a phone call. Marcus Aurelius was a man who understood the burden of a heavy day. Every morning, he spoke to himself as a friend and a teacher. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They are like this because they cannot tell good from evil. But I have seen the beauty of good and the ugliness of evil, and I know that neither of them can hurt me." This was not a complaint about people. It was a way to protect his heart. He was deciding that he would not be surprised by the behavior of others. He was deciding that his peace was his own responsibility. Apply this principle tomorrow morning when you first open your eyes. Before you check the news or start your chores, take a few minutes to anchor yourself. Remind yourself that today you will likely encounter something frustrating. A machine will break. A person will be rude. Or a plan will change. By expecting these things, you take away their power to upset you. You are not a leaf in the wind. You are the stone that the water flows around. The practice for your morning is the 5-minute anchor. Step number 1. Before you get out of bed, sit up and place your feet on the floor. Step number 2. Say to yourself, today I will meet difficult people and unexpected events. They cannot touch me unless I allow it. I will focus only on my own actions and my own kindness. Step number 3. Visualize one challenge you expect to face today and see yourself meeting it with a calm, steady voice. Do this for 5 minutes every single morning. The second half of our ritual is the evening review. This is built on the principle of self-examination. The Stoics believed that we cannot grow if we do not look at our mistakes with honesty. Every night, they would sit in the silence and replay the day like a movie. They would look at their actions not to judge themselves harshly, but to find where they could be steadier tomorrow. This is the habit of closing the books on the day so that you do not carry the weight of yesterday into tomorrow. This is difficult today because we often use the evening to escape. We turn on the television or scroll through our phones until we fall asleep. We do this because we are tired and because we do not want to face the regrets or the overthinking that comes when it is quiet. But this escape is temporary. The problems we ignore in the evening are waiting for us when we wake up. For many of us who are dealing with regrets from the past or the loneliness of the present, this lack of review keeps us stuck in the same emotional loops. We repeat the same arguments in our heads, and we feel the same frustrations day after day. Imagine a man named Robert. Robert had a frustrating day where he lost his temper with a store clerk. He feels a sense of guilt and embarrassment. But instead of looking at it, he watches the late-night news for 2 hours to distract himself. He falls asleep with a heavy heart and wakes up feeling the same tension. Robert is carrying his mistakes like a heavy backpack. He never takes it off, so he never gets to rest. A Stoic approach would help Robert set the backpack down. Instead of escaping, he would spend 10 minutes reflecting on why he lost his temper. He would ask himself what judgment led to his anger. He would decide how he would handle a similar situation tomorrow. By doing this, Robert turns his mistake into a lesson. He forgives himself and closes the door on the day. He can sleep with a clear mind because he has settled his account with himself. Seneca was a philosopher who valued this evening ritual above almost everything else. He believed it was the secret to a restful sleep and a growing soul. Seneca wrote, "When the light has been removed and my wife has fallen silent, I examine my entire day and go over what I have done and said, I hide nothing from myself. I pass nothing by. This is the practice of a sovereign mind. It is the act of becoming your own mentor. Apply this tonight before you go to sleep. Do not let the day end without a moment of reflection, whether you had a wonderful day or a difficult one. Look at it with the eyes of a wise friend. Acknowledge your victories and learn from your stumbles. This is how you ensure that each day is a step toward a better version of yourself. The practice for your evening is the 3-question review. Step number 1. Find 10 minutes of quiet before you get into bed. Step number 2. Ask yourself these 3 questions. What did I do well today? Where did I lose my peace? How can I be steadier tomorrow? Step number 3. Mentally release the day. Say to yourself, this day is now behind me. I have learned what I could. I am at peace. Do this for 10 minutes every night to clear your mind for rest. By practicing these morning and evening rituals, you are creating a rhythm of dignity for your life. You are deciding that you are not a victim of the world's noise. You are a person who prepares with strength and reviews with wisdom. You are building a life that is anchored in character rather than circumstance. If you are ready to begin these daily rituals and take command of your peace, please go to the comment section and type, I am building a steady life. I am building a steady life. Let this affirmation be your commitment to yourself and to this community. We are all walking this path together. Stay anchored in your ritual. Stay steady in your soul.